learned a whole lot of lies. Time to re-educate the nation.
Hey guys, Ryan Gardner, Re-Education of a Nation. Hit that like and subscribe button. Also, by the way, before you forget, share it. Really would appreciate it. So, let's talk about Texas. I love Texas. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I've been to the Ranger Stadium. I love it. Wish it was a bigger state. I love the gun laws. I like the people. Love the food. Love the steak. Love driving through it. Even like speed limits. And by the way, if you're wondering why I talk like this, it's because guess what? I was NFL supervisor. So, with all that being said, I just dropped my mic. Hold on. Put it back on. Yeah, I ain't all of that extra stuff. We just put it. There we go. Okay, so, did I say like it, love it, share it? I think I did. But anyway, so Texas, the big freeze. The Lone Star State is one big ass ice cube right now. And you're asking why? Okay, let's just go ahead and go with the numbers. Global warming. Yes, they're saying that there's a big old mass of cold air coming on down and comes down and it hits it and goes back up. And that's because of global warming and temperatures and it's letting the Arctic air escape and low barometrics and all this other hobbity clop. So that's one excuse. Now, let's get to the real reason that Texas is frozen besides nature. Texas uses, I think their primary, no, I know it is, they primarily use natural gas. And if you've never worked in the industry, if you've never worked in any type of industrial area, then you wouldn't know that they are valves. And when they had these valves, they switch open and close, these valves froze. When the valves froze, they couldn't get the gas. And natural gas is pressurized and they need turbines and they need generators. All these things froze. See, Texas doesn't get this cold. I don't know if you know that or not, but it really, really doesn't. In fact, Texas, the biggest state, is one of the biggest producers of energy in the country. Excuse me, getting a little tongue-tied. So now, Texas also has a big green program, or we should say renewable energy program. Now, with that being said, understand that Texas has hundreds of windmills, or wind turbines. These things are huge. I drove through Texas this summer and it was beautiful seeing all that clean renewable energy. But renewable energy has a cost and it's a price that a lot of you don't know we have to pay. Yeah, I changed my mind. I don't want to talk about that. But what I am going to talk about is the fact that there is no such thing as a completely clean energy source. It just isn't. We're going to get some type of blowback from it no matter what it is, be it hydro, because with hydroelectric and even with wind, they're still learning with the whole wave generation thing. But with hydroelectric dams, you're really going to sit there and see, you know, you have to dam it up, which is going to change environment. It has environmental impacts. The same thing with wind energy. It has environmental impacts. And also with solar cells, it has environmental impacts as well. So we're not going to get, it's like a trade-off. You're not going to get 100% clean. So toss it out the window if that's what your brain wraps around when it comes to clean, renewable energy. It's a less of a demon or devil, if you want to say, but still there is some type of impact environmentally. Now, it may not be the CO2 emissions, it may not be the pollution, but there are pollutants in the process of making these renewable energy sources. So there's that. Now, let us not forget that renewable energy still has not caught up to the efficiency of fossil fuels and their ability to produce. But fossil fuels, as we know, even with their production, even with the modern technologies, they still produce pollutants which cause asthma, cancer, and a host of other different shit that we could go down the list of, but we're just not going to do that today. So back to Texas. Now, before you start criticizing my friends in Texas, let me explain this one to you. They just weren't ready for these temperatures. Just like most of you in the Midwest and the South aren't ready for these temperatures. The pipes aren't insulated. They don't have the heating system. I dare say some people don't have heat. I mean, it's rare that they need it. I mean, sometimes yes and no. I mean, they're just not as insulated as we are. They're not as prepared for these things. And I want you to understand something. Texas produces your gas. Yep, Texas produces 41% of the crude oil that comes into America. And they also refine 31% of it. So when Texas shuts down, your gas goes up. And when your gas goes up, the Saudis come to the rescue. And that's why you're going to pay $3.75 or $4 at the pump, because Texas shut down. So before you start criticizing, I suggest you start understanding and trying to figure out how we can fix this as a nation. Now, The whole EV car push is something totally different, and I'm not going to get on that. I just want you to sit there and understand that gas is gas, but getting it from your own backyard is a lot better than getting it from somebody else's backyard that don't really like you. Just putting that out there. So what does this tell us as a nation? What this tells us is we need to work on infrastructure. We need our politicians. We need, Ted Cruz. I was going to try to leave that one alone, but I'll speak on it. What y'all think? What did you think he was going to do? Did you think Ted was going to sit there and if he had a vacation spot, go sit there and not say nothing? Did you think he was going to sit there and just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to sit there and suffer with the rest of y'all in silence and freeze my cojones off. No, Ted was like, I have a vacation. I have money. I have a family. I want to be comfortable. I'm out, bitches. But y'all are criticizing him like you would not do the same thing. These people are human too. Now, I'm not being empathetic to what he did. I'm not being empathetic at all because guess what? You hired him. You checked that box that said, eyes want Ted Cruz, sir. Put Ted in the office. And that's what you got. So you can sit there and criticize all you want to, but understand this man had resources. And if any of us had the same resource, we probably would use them. So with that being said, get off Ted Cruz back. Y'all got bigger fish to fry. You need thicker mittens and more long john underwear than you can count. Besides, 500,000 people are without power. What is Ted going to do? Invite them all over to the house for a barbecue and warm hot cocoa? I don't think so. So let's be realistic with the criticisms. Let's really do that because you're just wasting your time and spinning your wheels on something that has nothing to do with getting warm. Now, forward. What can we do as a nation is pay attention. And what we also need to do as a nation, an educated nation, is understand that who we put in office is just as important for our future and our kids' future and infrastructure that we need to have fixed. We have become a reactionary society instead of a preparatory society. And because we're not prepared, we're paying out the ass for things that we should not. This should not have happened in Texas. I say that, but supply and demand, cost versus benefit, loss. It's an equation that only penny pinchers and shareholders want to hear about. But right now, nobody gives a damn about that. So what I can tell you as an American citizen, as a vet, is to be prepared. Cover your ass, cover your assets, and just be prepared because it seems to be that this climate change, as I've said earlier, is going to sit there and continue. And this may not be climate change. It may be a freak accident. Right? Welcome to Virginia. That's how the weather is all the way every day around this jank. You wake up and it's 38 degrees 1 minute. By noon it's 42 degrees. And for some strange fricked up reason, by 4 o'clock, 1600 hours, it's 78 degrees and you've taken everything off that you've had on. And then by 7:30, it's 32 degrees again. I shit you not. Call and ask your cousins in Virginia. We'll let you know. But we do need to really pay attention to what we're doing as a nation and who we're hiring. I'm jumping back and forth about this subject because it's kind of one of those things where you don't think you need to say something about, but you really do need to pay attention to. Our infrastructure is suffering. We are too dependent on other countries for power, for goods and services, and we need to figure that out. I'm going to say this in every one of my videos, and I want you guys to participate in this as well. Check us out on Re-Education of a Nation on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. If you want to be on the show, if you want to be on the podcast, it's Re-Education, that's REE Education, .nation@gmail.com. Again, hit that like, subscribe button. Look at the other videos and comment, share, and post. I'm just telling you that you got to really understand what's going on to understand how we can fix it as a nation. Now, before I go, I'll be back with something else. So, you can see the smile. Let me see if I can get it right. There you go. The conspiracy part of this. I always love this part when I think about things and I shouldn't say them. It's warming to the heart. Is it me, or does it feel like somebody's playing with the weather? You see, if I had the capability to manipulate and control the weather, where would I hit first? I would hit you in your pockets. Oh, yes. And America, Texas is your pocket. No American wants to pay full price for gas. Not a single solitary one of us. And now you have to. Makes you wonder and makes you think. I bet you there's almost a correlation between when someone takes office and the price of gas going up. We've never thought about that before. However, normally, when we have problems in Texas with refineries and making good old-fashioned black gold, it's during the summertime, not the winter. And never before has it ever been this bad in Texas. See, you got to understand that we can, and they do, and I don't care what they say, manipulate Mother Nature. They do. They had a program called HARP. And I'm not even going to the acronym. I'm just going to spell it for you. H-A-R-P. I think it's extra P in that, but it's called HARP. It was in Alaska. But at one point in time, I think there were 3 or 4 countries operating HARP systems, which basically they take high frequencies, beam them into the atmosphere at a certain level, heat it up, and it changes the weather patterns. Yeah, it makes you wonder if we've been fucking with it too much, and that's why global warming is such a big topic, because all the countries are like, we made a mistake, Sam. How do we fix it? But that's neither here nor there. Just a little food for thought in case you want to sit there and do a little research on the dark side of what it could be. Because as we know, the news only tells us what they want us to hear, not what we need to hear or should hear. Because if we knew better, we probably wouldn't elect the people that we had. Re-education of a nation. Out.